Queens podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and this is the only podcast that focuses on Queens. This podcast is brought to you by the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council. Together, they work to showcase our borough as a destination filled with great experiences, cultural gems, opportunities for everyone who lives here, works here, or visits from near or far. Now, nonprofits are truly the lifeblood of Queens, serving every corner and every community of our diverse borough. From food pantries, youth development programs, mutual aid programs, and senior centers to arts collectives and employment services, mental health clinics, these organizations make Queens not just livable, but a vibrant, innovative place to call home. Nonprofits employ nearly 1/5 of our city's workforce and drive billions of dollars into our local economy while offering hope and direct help to the borough's most vulnerable residents. There are hundreds of nonprofits that span healthcare and immigrant services, arts and cultural organizations, food access, housing, education, the environment, and social justice. And their ability to adapt and respond quickly is unmatched. And it's why supporting local nonprofits is vital, especially during the giving season. Among Queens' most influential nonprofits is Samaritan Daytop Village, a pillar for individuals seeking recovery, hope, and greater stability. Founded decades ago, Samaritan Daytop Village evolved from a single treatment center into a network of services in New York, specializing in substance use and mental health treatment, supportive housing, and outreach to justice-involved populations. The organization's mission has always been rooted in breaking cycles of addiction, homelessness, and despair, while offering practical steps toward a brighter future for thousands of people every year. So this month, as we honor our veterans, it's especially fitting to spotlight Samaritan's transformative work supporting those who have served our country. To help us understand firsthand how these programs are changing lives, I'm joined this week by Deirdre Rice-Reese, Assistant Vice President of Residential and Recovery Services. Deirdre has dedicated her career to building pathways out of crisis for veterans and all New Yorkers seeking recovery and stability. Deirdre Rice-Reese, welcome to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So
Thanks for having me.
for anyone who's not familiar, how would you describe Samaritan Daytop Village's overall approach to supporting New Yorkers?
So we take a person-centered approach and we develop recovery supports, housing supports, food and security supports, things that New Yorkers need right now to navigate what's going on in our country and our world. Our treatment approaches really focus on community as method. So each one teach one and help one, right? We leave no one behind. So that's really being able to hone in on the needs of the individual and address them specifically by different treatment approaches is what we do in the treatment setting. Of course, as you know, Samaritan has transitional housing, which is, AKA shelters. We have a food as medicine program. We have a full federally qualified health center. We have recovery supports across the state that work with individuals who are in recovery, but not necessarily need treatment, just need a connection, need a continuing effort. We have alumni supports. We have permanent supportive housing. We have a program called Food is Medicine, which is helping people use food to help them heal. So teaching you how to eat properly, how to shop properly. We have a financial literacy program. We have a parenting program. So it really depends on the needs, but we attempt to address the needs as they come to us.
A wide scope of programs. So what are some of the needs that you see among veterans who are entering the Ed Thompson Veterans Program compared to, veterans in other parts of the state? Are there specific needs in this area?
And I would have to say that housing is a big need across New York, period. And so in the densely populated Queens, really a challenge getting affordable housing, as well as, getting veterans connected to VA services, benefits that they are eligible for that they may not have attempted or may have, lost sight of because of their addiction and or other challenges, mental health issues. So, you know, having being in a state where there's more than 200,000 veterans milling about, and then hearing that 22 of them die of suicide every day is, really painful. So addressing that post-traumatic stress, addressing those mental health concerns is a key thing. And that would be in Queens and in the state at large. I don't know that there's anything more narrow for Queens other than the housing issue.
How do people find out about you? How do veterans find out about Samaritan Daytop Village?
Well, hopefully they've heard of us. So the Samaritan's Veterans Program will be 40 years old next year. So turning 40 in 86, Ed Thompson found the need. Ed Thompson was a Vietnam era veteran who was a person that went into recovery and thought that having some other veterans working together in a brotherhood would be more helpful. And it became something that we adopted as an agency and ran with it. And so we've had um, a solid, focused attention on veteran treatment for 40 years, right? Its own, not a track, not a group, but a program that honed in on the needs of veterans. And, a lot has to do with PTSD, a lot has to do with building camaraderie, rebuilding honor and respect, not just patriotism to your country, but certainly being concerned with yourself and your community. So those things come into play quite heavily. And I can go on and on, but I don't.
How many
Yeah.
how many veterans do you normally work with in the course of a year?
So in the course of a year, I'm going to say about 150. Um, and it really just depends on the year. And that would be in the veteran specific recovery model. When you talk about veterans that might be living in a shelter or a transitional housing unit within a Samaritan, that number would be much larger, upwards of 300 to 400. So, and it's a challenging issue trying to determine whether a veteran feels like a veteran, right? So we don't ask if you're a veteran. We asked if you ever served in the military. I recently met someone who said, yeah, well, I was in, the service and whatever, but I don't consider myself as a veteran because I didn't go to war. You're a veteran if you served, period. And so many veterans sort of take that sort of stance. Well, I didn't fight. I wasn't affected. I just served because I wanted to get out of the projects, whatever the reasoning was for entering the military. But you are a veteran regardless of your character of discharge, regardless of your reasoning for going in. You're a veteran if you served. Now the rules have changed. If you served one day, you are considered a veteran. So, yeah.
So this is very meaningful work to you because of also your career. I'd love for you to talk a little about that.
So, as an Air Force veteran, and I served many more years ago than I want to account for right now. But serving, 6 years in the Air Force in logistics, being able to um, take my honor, code, and spirit to the people that we serve, it always makes it feel like we're back home. So I can sit with a group of men or women that have served and we can talk like, we were all in it together that same week or that same year. And there's just a camaraderie that connects us forever. You're forever connected and wanting to assure that you could do something to help someone at least take their mind off some of the depression, the stressors, the cravings, the, the challenges that they have through therapeutic recreation, through um, treatment programming and modeling, through activities related to the core service. There are ways that veteran to veteran works differently than civilian to veteran, right? So having the ability to work with people who've also served or having staff that have military experience now working with our clients, it really makes a big difference because the men and women feel that. They understand it. They recognize that this person knows where I've been, and they've been able to overcome so many obstacles because they know they've been through it. So,
And you have such a wonderful scope of programming. And in my view, you make a significant impact. And I'm sure you've heard a number of stories from veterans you've worked with whose whose lives have been improved so significantly because of your work. Is there one or two or just one that comes to mind that you could think about without using their name? I don't want to divulge anything we're not supposed to, but generally the type of responses you get from people that you've served.
oh no, so recently, and we have an annual what we call alumni elite black tie dinner. And we had at the Alumni Elite this year someone who had 10 years of continuous recovery. And they talked about how they have completed their degree. They now are living in a home, something that they hadn't, not their own home. They now work in a setting that helps other veterans or other people. And they just, they're effusive about how they took the time to sacrifice their life for their country. And then when they went into a treatment service or had to receive services, they had to take the time to serve themselves, to get service, to be the recipient of the support that they needed to be um, independent. And for us, being able to say, you know, 10 years ago, I remember seeing you in the admissions waiting area and you were trying to get some help and you really didn't want to do this. You didn't want to, I don't want to go in treatment. I don't want to be in long term. And now, 10 years later, you are, the success that we knew you could be. Those kind of stories we hear all the time, all the time.
So, if anyone listening is a veteran or knows a veteran who might be able to access your services, what are some of the steps they should take? What should they know before they reach out?
So, basically, if you know how to use a phone, you can make a phone call, 71869. I'm losing
Oh, I do this
brain.
all the
Got
time.
the
Go
numbers.
ahead.
Got the numbers. I'm getting older. Being able to make a phone call or use a website, but that's 718-657-6195 or 855-322-4357. Those are two numbers that could get you started. Or if you go to our website, Samaritan Daytop Village, www.samaritanvillage.org. That's samaritanvillage.org. You'll find a QR reader there. And not just for treatment services, you can get career and employment supports. You can learn about the agency. It'll tell you about our board and leadership, and about some of our facilities. Right now, one of the prime projects that we're building is affordable housing in the Bronx, in the hybrid section, a beautiful brand new 26-story building with 400 units of affordable housing. So lots of things always happening. So our website is a good place to start. And on there, you would find for referrals or admissions, click here. So using the website is good, but that phone call will get you rolling and started into the admissions group.
And Deirdre, anything else you'd like to add? Anything else that's on the horizon involving your programming that you think our listeners should know about?
So, I'd like to add that women have a tendency to avoid um, residential treatment and services. And I shouldn't say avoid, I should say just not avail themselves of that resource. And for a number of reasons, and I understand it wholly. At the same time, our resilience could be our worst enemy at times, right? So we're so busy being used to surviving that we don't ask for help or take the help as it's offered. And, I would say that is one of the most underutilized resources that Samaritan has is serving women. And, I want them to know that they have a voice, a place, a friend, um, and they can always count on us. So if not anything else, know that women have a place. All veterans are welcome. There is no discernment between someone who was honorably discharged or dishonorably discharged owing to an issue or concern, and that we can address individual needs as they arise. So please avail yourself of the services. That would be my mantra.
And before I let you go, please remind our listeners of the website address again, because I think that's very important for people to have.
It is www.samaritan, that's Samaritan, Village, Village.org. No, there's no period or space between Samaritan Village. SamaritanVillage.org.
Deirdre Rice-Reese, I want to thank you so much for appearing on this week's It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And thanks to all that served.
Beyond its innovative veterans program, Samaritan Daytop Village operates a robust network of outpatient and residential treatment centers, senior support hubs, and family shelters across the borough. The organization's reach includes Narcan overdose training, aftercare and vocational services, and community education to help residents build resilience and thrive no matter their circumstances. Their team is passionate about evidence-based solutions and inclusiveness, providing counseling, healthcare, housing, and educational opportunities for youth and adults alike. So let's switch gears and turn to Rob Mackay from the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council for a roundup of some fantastic events that are happening this month.
Hey, Jeff. Hope you're doing well. This is the time of year where there's a big tent. In this case, it's a white tent outside City Field. That's because Circus Vasquez, or El Circo Hermanos Vasquez, is in town. This is a fantastic group that's been around since 1969, and it's based on really rural Mexican rodeo and horse stuff. But it's modernized with comedians and clowns, a guy who can stand on his head forever. There's the Pork Chop Review, which includes a bunch of pigs who do animal tricks. And of course, there's some dogs that do animal tricks as well. Someone can do a triple somersaults. There's high wire and aerial acts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The other kind of cool thing about this show, Circus Vasquez, is that they're here for a while and they're doing a lot of shows with times 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock on the weekends. So it's easy to catch with your schedule. Again, that's Circus Vasquez, and they're just outside City Field from November 21st to December 14th. All right. Thank you.
That's just a sample of all that's happening in Queens, so thank you, Rob. The place to go to discover and explore everything that's on the horizon is so easy to remember. It's at the It's in Queens website at itsinqueens.com. And if you're interested in more business-related news, how to help your business or a family members or a friends, well then head right over to the QEDC's website at queensny.org. And when you're there, take a moment and sign up for their newsletter. Now, when you visit any place in Queens this month, take a photo or two and share it with us. Make sure to use the hashtag #It'sInQueens when you post on Instagram or X, because your photo could become our photo of the week. So as I wrap up this week's episode, I want to take a moment and reflect on the sheer impact of organizations like Samaritan Daytop Village and the hundreds of other nonprofits that are anchoring our borough. Their dedication lifts up our neighbors, teaches resilience, and keeps Queens a place of opportunity for all. So during this giving season, contributions, whether time, money, or advocacy, have a ripple effect that strengthens entire communities and supports the boots-on-the-ground heroes working for change. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and that's it for this week's It's in Queens podcast.